And we are back, recapping Invincible Season 3, Episode 4. You were my hero. Watch him as he goes, and watch out for where your friends put their fists after this. All right, guys, right here back at Variants to cover all things Marvel, DC, Lord of the Rings, anime, gaming, Star Wars, and more. This time, the amazing show Invincible. It continues onward, and for me, I gotta say, this series continues to be head and shoulders above a lot of what we're seeing out here in animated universes, aside from stuff that DCU has been putting out, other than Harley Quinn. But this series continues to be great. I'm loving it. Parker, the people here for your opinion. What do you think about the show?
This episode starts off a little bit slower, which is fine. I mean, after everything that happened through episodes 1 through 3, I didn't mind a slow start, getting some more story build up and figuring out where things are going with characters. But again, it ended on a heck of a note. I'm talking about slam dunk, freaking, grade A, fights and stuff like that, and a fist bump for the ages. So, like, this again, the show is just great all around. I'm very happy.
As WWE legend JR would say, it was a slobber knocker, folks. It was an all out bloodbath by the end. But let's kind of recap the episode to kind of catch you guys up to speed if you haven't seen the episode thus far. We basically started off with Mark looking for answers because we saw last episode we had that eyeball robot. It was spying on him and it was trying to figure out more information from him. And we saw that it pertains back to one Angstrom Levy. Mark, on the other hand, has absolutely no idea where this is coming from. So he goes to the one person who he believes would have the audacity to spy on him and already knew his identity, Cecil. So he decides to break into a government facility, do some light treason, go ahead and try and ask some questions to get some answers, only to find out that Cecil's like, hey man, I don't know what that is. That's not mine. You're just destroying government, property at this point and costing taxpayers millions. Can you leave? Like, I don't have any answers for you. In which case, Mark then flies out because he's late. What is he late for?
He's late for that date he got. All right. He wasn't able to find out what the device was, so he left it for Cecil. And we all know Cecil's going to want to figure it out. Cecil don't like having any unknowns, so Cecil's going to be working on that while Mark goes on his date because Rex and Ray kind of had their little grocery shopping date, which didn't turn out so well because again, enemies are showing up. But the team is doing all right, and they're trying to figure out, how to survive on their own, while Mark is trying to figure out how to survive with Eve and actually have a relationship. So of course they jet off to they're in Paris, and they have a conversation for all of 5 minutes before they get interrupted by a fight master and dropkick through a time portal saying, "We need you to save us." And he's like, "No, I don't want to do it. That, please, we need you. I don't want to do it." All right, fine. And they decide to railroad this dude with the time machine and drag him into the portal anyway, so that he has to confront whatever it is if he wants to get back home, which is just absolutely insane because y'all seen what this man can do, which is one of the reasons why y'all want to recruit him, and y'all proceed to drag him through a portal somewhere he doesn't know. Yeah, something's gonna get dead real quick. I don't know. I just don't think that this particular scene did it for me because we get bits and pieces of how this king has been causing all this tyranny and all this and all this other stuff on these subjects. Like they've been having to struggle with all the robots that have been running everything, but it's some kind of protocol is also built into the robots to make sure they do whatever the king requires. Like they have set things where it's like you're either captured or eliminated. They don't care which. They're just gonna do whatever. Come to find out that king is immortal, an immortal who has been here through thousands of wives and thousands of years, and however far into the future this is, because we don't know. We just see him losing his mind. He is literally, gone to the brink of insanity, and he wants it to end. Mark was the emperor, and he left him in charge and went somewhere. So Immortal is losing his mind because he doesn't want to be in charge anymore. He doesn't want to deal with it no more. He wants Mark to end it. Invincible needs to end him so that he can rest and take over. And he's like, as soon as you do, it'll be given back to the people. So after, of course, relentless fighting and scrapping with Invincible, he's trying to get him to, do what he needs him to do. We see Fight Master and Dropkick, who show back up after fighting their way out of the guards that had them captured. And they make some little comments, of course, like, wait, freaking, like, they want him to do something. They want him to take out the king. Like, there's a reason behind it, but we don't know what that reason is. So that's a whole mystery in itself right there. How did Mark become emperor and why did he leave? We don't know. Bunch of questions to stuff that we don't know. The problem is Immortal needs to get his release and Mark needs to go home. Whatever's going to happen in the timeline is still going to happen, and that's probably going to come into play later on, I guess. So what does Mark do? He go ahead and takes Immortal's head off, because that's the only way you can really take him out. Takes his head off, tosses it to the side. Robots automatically restore everything to the people, and other Mark, who hops to a portal, hey, here's your clothes back, because he took his clothes earlier. I didn't mention that, but he just hopped to a portal in the black and blue suit and everything. Here's your clothes. And Mark goes home back to around the exact time that he left Eve. And that's it. We hear nothing else about the time travel stuff.
Other than the fact that there was something going on with the Viltrumites because Mark had to leave because there was some disease that they were looking for a cure from that he took his whole family and absconded to. So there's a whole bunch of vague questions not answered.
It's the Goku virus. That's what I'm calling it until I figure it out. I don't know. Some random sickness is just showing up. So, yeah. It didn't make any sense, but we get a happy Mark and Eve flying off, enjoying their date. They're having a good time. They have such a good time that he admits that I love you. And she's like,
on a second date.
And basically they make it back to his place and they take care of business. Happy ending for Mark, right? Cool. I mean, it's just not any more cameras outside the window. He's good, right? Everything's straight. So they have a happy ending. Meanwhile, the narrator comes on and lets us know that Alan and Nolan have some stuff going on. Alan is waiting for his moment. He's been, they recap how many times he's tried, they tried to execute him and take him out. Now he keep getting, he's stronger. He's able to withstand more stuff. So much is going on with him. Finally, Nolan admits at some point that he thinks he misses his wife. He's done. Like something kicks in.
X of toxic X's. He is king toxic X. You are my pet. You know what? I kind of miss my pet.
Yeah.
What? What?
Either way, Alan got the trigger he needed, and he was like, all right, run it. Bah! Breaks out, lets out a bunch of prisoners for them to deal with the guards for that. Hunts down, he's trying to hunt down Nolan to get him out. He ends up running into the Beastmaster guy, right? Gets him freaking on deck after he scraps him just a little bit. It's like, hey, I got some Viltrumites for you to fight. Takes him. They get to where the Viltrumites are. There's two Viltrumites beating the crap out of Nolan because it's time for his execution. And bam, set him loose on one. They go, pretty much tag team the other one, as well as several guards that keep running in, and they are just scrapping, like straight up. Everybody's throwing hands. And Alan literally, played possum a little bit, took more damage than he needed to take just to get Nolan into the fight because Nolan wasn't really fighting. He was just kind of succumbing to whatever his punishment was, but now he's fighting back. And now he's fighting back.
Was depression. Nolan's punishment was depression. He was literally having a self-pity party, and he had to see his friend that he cared about almost die in order for him to power up through friendship, which is breaking his whole Omni-Man shtick of as a Viltrumite, no feelings. We just go out, we conquer in the name of our king. Instead, now he's powered by friendship for his buddy Alan, breaks free in this heroic montage, and next thing you know, we're having the scrap of scraps, which of course I'll let you take the way on. But man, am I happy to see Battle Beast back in the fray.
I mean, everything went good. Again, Battle Beast was scrapping with his one, and eventually they end up having to blow out the airlock. Everybody's floating in space, and while one of the Viltrumites tries to throw Battle Beast like off into the distance, he straight up puts his claws in his chest and says, "No, we're going together." And they literally just spin and twirl off somewhere. Like they're just floating in space, but they can breathe in space. That both of them are good. While the other Viltrumite is dealing with Alan and Nolan, who, through the power of friendship, give the most epic of fist bumps through this man's skull. And it was absolutely a thing of beauty as to how it went down. Like it created like a sonic boom or like a shockwave. Like it hit that hard. It was great. So they now know that, okay, we're taking one out. He discloses the secret that there's only like 50 or less Viltrumites left, and that's one of the reasons why they're not going to come and show up. That's why if they did give a distress alarm, they're not going to show up because, again, that's one of their closely guarded secrets. There's not a lot of them, and that's how they can be beat. So now it seems that Nolan is on board with taking out the Viltrumites and helping the coalition of planets. So him and Alan are about to go hijack a ride and get moving and go wherever they need to go. And that's how this one ends. And it's pretty solid. We now got, more players in effect, which means we can have a little bit more happy time for Mark. And then after that, things are going to pop off really hard when Omni-Man gets back. Because if you think Cecil ain't got some kind of satellites and notifications for when Omni-Man shows back up, oh, he's ready, willing, and waiting to do some damage to Omni-Man. And he's got something in store, I'm sure.
And once again, the biggest casualty of all, Mark's mother. She has to once again deal with her toxic ex, who called her a pet, treated her like garbage, treated her like a breeder, then decided to leave her, conquer the planet, say I never loved you, and then the minute he's on death row, he's like, you know what? Maybe all that was just a big old lie, and I'm just gonna undo that because my situation is just a little upsetting. So she's gonna catch a big L on this one. And once again, we also have Mark and Eve, who are basically figuring out, hey, I need to move out. We need to get our own place. So they are not taking this relationship slow at all. But again, Eve also had a treehouse where they could have easily gone back to that still exists within a reasonable distance of flying. Because I mean, if you're flying to France for a date, then you're going to the Middle East, then you're going over to China, and then you're coming back. I'm sure you could find a place somewhere. Real estate seems to be a little easier when you can fly and fast travel. But hey, that's just me. But at the same token, I'm happy Mark has got a nice little break from things because if we know this series, he's anything but invincible, and there's going to be plenty of wanton punishment, chaos, and mayhem waiting for him in the next episode. Any final thoughts, Will?
You already know what I want. Bring on the ex Anissa.
Oh, I don't even want to think about that. That's a whole nightmare in of itself. What isn't a nightmare is you hit that lovely subscribe button. It's free. It's in the bottom area below that lovely red box. Greatly help us out. And hitting the like button. Let's let YouTube know for more people to come check out this amazing content and come hang out with you guys in the comment section because, of course, you're going to leave a lovely comment. I've been Brent, a team fan of the Bro Fist, with my boy, as always, Parker. We'll see you in the next episode.